Alrighty, so unfortunately, a little bit of this list has been spoiled for me by my Discord, but we are going to talk about the new Forbidden Limited list and skill balancing. Konami gifting me this list at the perfect time so I can upload it for content, because I gotta be honest, I'm not feeling playing the game right now. So any sort of content that doesn't need me to queue into ranked against the same three decks and players that don't know how to play them, I am all in favor of. So let's take a look at what they banned and limited. I know one card they limited, or banned rather, and it's the exact card that everyone has been talking about being banned. Other than that, I can't think of anything I necessarily want to be banned, but I would like, obviously, some skill rebalancing and some limits, semi-limits, and some stuff off the list. Let's see what they've done. There we go. Of course, we are forbidding Nightmare Mermaid. That is obviously what should have been banned. Improve deck building diversity, as its usage rate remains high even at limit 1. It is being utilized to allow Orcust monsters to be played in many different decks. Volfernages and Gagaga Revenge, that is very funny. I super disagree with Gagaga Revenge. We should have been limiting the Onomatopoeia card, but I understand that that is a selection box card, so they didn't want to. We cannot be playing Volo along with any other Limit 1 cards. Obviously, I can't see anything below, so maybe they put something else from Pendulum, or maybe Volfernages was being abused in other decks. I don't know if Gagaga was making Limit 1s. I'm just assuming that because these are the only two Limit 1s I see, that they're supposed to be limited in tandem with each other. I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised to see Pendulum Call go to Limited 1 if we're seeing a Volfernages hit, which would be very funny and very, very painful. So let's see what else we have on the list. Obviously, Gagaga Revenge. Gagaga Orcust, I think, was secretly the best Orcust variant, at least as far as using Babel goes. There's the argument that, like, pure Orcust with just 6 1-card Mermaids was the best way to play, but with Gagaga, you got to play 6 1-card Galateas without using Mermaid, because you could use your Gagaga combo to search out Sister and Coat, normal Sister, search Revenge, special Coat, and then detach the Sister for or any other card for Beatrice's effect to send Harp, banish Harp for Nightmare, and then you made Galatea. So you got to basically play Babel and Babel with 6 1-card starters, which is the reason that Mermaid was good, the amount of starters that let you make it. I'm really just delaying. I really don't want to see Pendulum Call on the Limited 1 list, but I bet it's going to be here. Okay. This card will be moved to... Players can use it alongside Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Well, it looks like Beatrice is on the list, as it should have been. Crazy to me that Beatrice was like allowed off the list for that long. Beatrice just reads as like the single most broken Xyz monster ever printed that's not named Shockmaster. Although, given that what is his face? Laval Chain's been banned for years, maybe even more powerful. Beatrice might even be more powerful than the other card I mentioned. Laval Chain. Shockmaster. Goodness. Orchestrated released. That's very funny if we're not getting any other cards. That makes sense, but like, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you folks. If you can't play Mermaid anymore, there's no reason to play Release. The reason to play Release is that it let you activate Ding's effect on your opponent's turn. So this is actually really good. The Nightmare scenario is that, like, Harp Horror goes to 2 along with Orcust Nightmare, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But I'm going to be honest, I think you just play Compulse and Ice Dragon's Prison over this. But yeah, there you go. Also, no other limited 1 hits for Pendulum, so I don't really know were Pendulum decks playing 2 of this? That doesn't seem correct. Or maybe, like I said, I've sort of checked out of the meta about like a month ago, which is why I just now uploaded the Pendulum Magician video. I'm just not enjoying the metagame. But yeah, I think depending on what else they do with Orcust, you just play the limit 3 cards over Release. Limit 2 cards. The limitation of this card will be eased as its power level is acceptable in the current metagame. I always love... also, we can see the card at the bottom there. Moray of Greed going to 2 after being limit 1 is so funny, because like they took Crocodragon off the list and they're like, well, shit, we got to give Merlantian something to do. So Moray of Greed is back, but not at 3. I'm going to be honest, since the limit 2 list is more or less pointless now that most cards have been eased off it, and the cards that are still on it for generic reasons are cards that are just power crept into unplayability, stuff like Pulse Mines, for example. Concentrating Current could also come off, but you can also steal games with that, so I'm tentatively not putting it in the same level of powerlessness that cards like Pulse Mines currently inhabit. So that's pretty cool that Karakuri gets some stuff off the list. And Mori of Greed coming off. Double Yo-Yo, this needed to happen. I think Speedroid has, like, the most powerful... I don't even know if I think this needs to happen, to be honest. I'd rather other decks get cards that let them keep up with Speedroid, because Speedroid being a deck that can just play through interaction like other decks really can't. There's not, like, a single choke point that exists with other decks like Pendulum and, of course, Orcust. I would like every deck to be able to do that, so your combos don't basically... So Book of Moon and Compulse don't trade for so much of your combo when you go second, but that's not the direction Duel Links wants to go in, so Speedroid Double Yo-Yo is being limited. With 3 copies of Win and Terror Top, I think you're probably still fine, but that is an interesting limit, and still nothing for Pendulum Magicians, and I can tell by this dotted line that is the end of the semi-limited list, and I'll be honest, I'm expecting 2 cards from Pendulum to go to 2, or to go to 3, or the skill to be gutted, which, frankly, the skill needs to be gutted in the first place. But let's see what we got at the 3 list, the most important part on the list. Limit 3 Tour Guide, Limit 3 Silver Rocket. Well, I'm glad I waited to make the Rocket video, if I even do make it. Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal, Scrap Recycler, Tatsunoko, Pendulum Call. Goki Rematch is free! Thank God! So now you can play... What is it? You can play, what, 3 Suprex and Rematch? I mean, I would not be surprised for people if people still play 2 Suprex and the Go skill just to play that cheesy-ass finishing move skill. I'll wait to see what most Goki lists are on, because I would like to do another Goki video, but, like, if the best way to play it is objectively the less consistent version with finishing move, it's not worth showcasing, because you all know how that version plays. You just apply the most recent Goki UDS I made and just understand that you're not going to be able to do those plays as often, but that's still generally how it works. But if Goki is better with 3 Suprex and no finishing move, then I will absolutely make another unnamed deck showcase on it, because if Goki can hold up in the meta without finishing move, that is reason enough to take a look at it, because I do quite like Goki as a combo deck when it's not doing cheesy shit like finishing move. Let's talk, of course, about the Limit 3 list. Tour Guide from the Underworld is funny at 3, actively kind of making it worse in BA. Especially now that you have to take Beatrice out. I only know deck builds of BA based on Swamp's deck, and I'm pretty sure they play 3 Beatrice. Silver Rocket to 3 is, like, fine. It takes... Obviously, it was good against Pendulum, but I think that's like, not Silver Rocket Dragon's fault. I still think it's probably the best level 4 Silver Rocket, or level 4 Rocket not named Tracer. But maybe you cut 1 copy of it so you can put a Silver Bullet like IDP in the deck, since you can tutor any rocket from your deck with Quick Launch or Tracer. Beatrice, I don't remember what BA has on the Limit 3 list, but this card is just crazy, and being at 3, it's eventually going to go to 1, I'm pretty confident. Now that we're starting to limit 1 box super rares, I can see this going to 1. This is easily at the same power level of other Limit 1 cards in the game. Scrap Recycler going to 3. This will actually... wait a second. Limit 1. Oh! I thought this was Limit 3 for some reason when I saw this at Orchestrated Release. That's so funny. They literally made it optimal to play Babel and then limited 1 the card that's worse than Babel. They're like... This card sucks. Why would you put it to 1? If anyone was going to play Orchestrated Release in an Orcust deck already playing Babel, they were throwing. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. That's so funny. No reason to play this card whatsoever. Scrap Recycler Limit 3. If you can still play 3 of this and 3 Harp Horror, then that's totally cool. Maybe I'll make another Orcust video. You know I love pure Orcust, and I'm super stoked that it is now the best version of the deck. Tatsunoko to 3. I'm assuming we're going to get a hit to the Bonds that blast the ass skill, whatever the hell that's called. I'm doing this without really knowing what anything in the meta is because I've just hated playing this game recently. So if I had done this back when I was playing, I would know what the synchro skill did, but I have since forgotten. Pendulum Call to 3. This literally does not matter. If the only thing in an archetype is getting hit is a single card to 3, that's fine. I mean, you saw my deck list. I'm not playing any other limit 3 cards. So luckily, barring any massive skill hits, which would have to be huge because I was already not playing... I was already only playing Odd Eyes and Magician cards in the deck. So if the only skill hit that exists is you can only activate this skill if you begin the duel with no monsters in your deck other than Performapal, Odd Eyes, or Magician cards, then my deck still holds up for the format and in fact got better. But I'm expecting, hopefully, if Konami knows what they're doing, there will be a more harsh deck building restriction that limits you to summoning specific monsters. Off the list, of course, rematch Chris... What? I did. Oh my god, I'm such a jackass. This is like awesome, but also really stupid because now you just play Goki like I already showcased. A finishing move is such a toxic card. There is no reason to do any cool link spam shenanigans. The only way to play Goki with finishing move not restricted is play your deck so you don't die going first and then kill them when you go second. Shit is not interesting at all. Crystron Impact off the list, very cool. I will never build Crystron. That shit is expensive. But maybe what I can do is I can have Swamp play Krystrons, record the gameplay footage from their perspective, and then I will upload that video and I will reiterate their talking points, if that sounds interesting. Cynet Crosswipe, Swallow's Nest. Ooh, Harpy's looking really good. Seer Malbranch of the Burning Abyss, Raid Raptor, Strangulanius. Why did you even put this at 3? Ah, I hate this card. I hate this card so much. This is a cool ban list. Goki might actually be competitive. It's much worse than Speedroids because Master Ogre is a worse negate than Crystal Wing. Likewise, it is also worse than Rockets because Master Ogre is worse than Void Ogre Dragon. But none of those decks have Goki finishing moves, so it might be a moot point, and Goki might be enough to be playable. I would be excited about that if it wasn't just a boring try not to die on your first turn and then kill your opponent on turn 3. That's not interesting. But I would not be surprised to see Salamangreat come back with a Code Talker Alive skill nerf. But if they nerf Code Talker Alive, there's no reason to play Salamangreat Code Talker. This is pretty exciting. I like Swallow's Nest. I might do a UDS on Harpy. I like Harpy a lot. I understand why people hate it because it's the same shit as like every other deck. It just does the same thing every other game. But like I feel like that's every deck now. Like Speedroids do the same thing every game. Odd Eyes does the same thing every game. Orcust especially does the same thing every game. So I mean I don't know. I have a soft spot for Harpies, but I understand that a lot of people hate them. There's like a really annoying person that comes to my Twitch chat and is like, man, playing Harpies, I thought you were better than that. I should ban him next time he comes in. He's annoying. But let's talk about these skills. Alrighty. We are strengthening some... Oh my god. So we are strengthening Red Eyes Roulette based. Zexal Ultimate Unite. That was the only Utopia build I could play, so I'm happy about that. We are strengthening some character exclusive skills. Obviously, Holly Angel Trick. I have no idea what that thing does, but I'm sure we'll learn. And Master of Rights. No way they're not touching any other skill. Please tell me this. Like, these are the ones where... No, because they're nerfing Master of... Yeah, my Pendulum Magician deck remains unchanged. I have seen into the future, and that is the way to play Pendulum Magician. That is so funny. Select one monster from below and add it updated. So now you can select one monster from the list below, add it to your deck from outside of your deck. So I don't think it's random anymore what they add. No, you always chose what it was. Then randomly add one. Then add one random Red Eye Spell Trap card from your deck to your hand. Then return one Red Eyes card from your hand to the deck. This skill can be used to begin the deck with excluding extra deck that has 10 or more Red Eyes cards and at least 5 Red Eyes monsters. This skill can only be used once per duel. Choose one of the following monsters, add it to your deck from outside of your deck. Then add one random Red Eyes card from your deck and return Red Eyes card. One Red Eyes spell. So it's only Spell or Trap now, which is obviously the only reason to play Red Eyes. Add one number 39 Utopia, one C number 39, and one ZW Arms to your extra deck. at the beginning of the duel once per turn. Okay, so now you just have more extra deck slots, which is great because of no real reason, unless you can play monsters other than number monsters. Once per turn and twice per duel, you can activate send the effect by paying half your life points, send one Gagaga monster you control to the graveyard, and play one of 3 different Gagaga monsters from outside of your deck. You can then change its level to 4. You can only special summon number and ZW monsters from your extra deck this duel. Also, if your life points are 2,000 or below, the effect activates at the beginning of your turn. Become the overlay network. You can use the effect once after transforming to Zexal. If you exceed summon Ultimate Leo Utopia Ray during this turn by using a rank 4 C39 Utopia Ray you control as the material. This is functionally meaningless. What they would need to do to make this effect, this skill C play, is activate to turn yourself into Zexal Mastermind at just during your turn. Because functionally it means unless you open your 2-card combo of Sister plus Driver, you can't make Utopia Leo on your first turn, and that's really the only thing this deck has going for it. Giant Hand or Force Focus Pass is not cutting it anymore. The effect damage of your Holly Angel, of your monsters whose original name is Trickstar Holly Angel, will be doubled. Select one Trickstar Link monster field, gain life points equal to its attack. They're literally begging people to not play Playmaker with... what's his face? 3 effects. Just make it so 3 effects only works on Cyberse Link monsters. It's so simple. Master of Rights 2 of just 1,500. Return one card from your hand and set one rich. It's unplayable. This is unplayable. Wow. That's so funny. The effects of skills and new links are not permanent and are subject to change in order to preserve the game. This will be all for this time. Well, I am very happy to tell you that the Pendulum Magician deck I just uploaded is just as playable now, and perhaps even more playable than it was before, because Orcust is weaker, as is basically everything. Not necessarily Rocket, although Rocket I'm pretty sure was playing Limit 3 traps, just because you do want to set every card in your hand when you make Void Ogre, and now they can play fewer of the best trap cards in the game. Odd Eyes wasn't really playing those cards, because you'd rather play Book of Moon for when you go second. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about Magicians this coming format. Well, that's all for the ban list and skill rebalancing discussion. Thank you, Konami, for gifting me content that doesn't require me to play your awful game, and I will get back to shiny hunting Pokemon.